There's Arden Way on a winter's day, March 6th, 2025. Arden Way, so many legendary things in Sacramento happened on Arden Way, and it's been a big part of my life, all my life. I've walked up and down Arden Way from William Pond Park at the American River all the way to Arden Fair, and even further than that actually sometimes. But it's just got everything you could think of as far as corporate America can be found commonly on Arden Way today, whereas back in the 80s and earlier it was more of a mom and pop strip. And I worked for the mom and pop skating rink, King Skate Country. Even though the business was owned by the King family, the rink was run by the Harney family. And so I can thank them for giving me a break at working like 5 nights a week. Actually 4 nights a week plus Saturday afternoon. Being a DJ at the roller rink, running sessions, programming sessions. That was the first use of the word programmer on my resume. And then when I got into radio, they called the people who picked music and what went on the air programmers. So I became a program director of Quad. Croy AM and FM used to be the top station in Sacramento back in the 70s. They played top 40 music. They were on Arden Way back in the day. And that was in the 70s, but past Arden Fair and on the other side of 160, Highway 160, opposite Arden Fair. And they had a window where people could peek in and watch the DJ at work spinning records. And so anyway, that's how I became inspired to get into radio and be a DJ by watching the DJ at King Skate Country when it was called Fantasia Skate Center back in the 70s, in the mid-70s. While Croy was the #1 station in Sacramento, I was skating at Fantasia Skate Center, and a DJ named Charlie Rogers was who inspired me, because I would watch him. I would do that. I was more into watching him do his job than skating, but I eventually became a big fan of skating because it's great exercise. So let's go check out where I used to work, King Skate Country. Before that, it was Fantasia Skate Center, and that's where I was inspired to become a DJ back in the mid-70s, while Croy was the #1 station in Sacramento, Croy on Arden Way. So I checked out the interior for the first time, and you know, it was kind of impressive that it's a kind of a big spacious place where there's a lot of people hanging out. It says the capacity is 380. I remember we'd feel good at the rink if 200 people showed up, and it probably had a capacity of the same amount back then. But you didn't want the rink floor to get too crowded, because then it became dangerous and hard to manage to keep people moving at a safe pace. But anyway, question about safety. How about financial safety? Do you want to protect your money, or do you want to gamble it all away at a bingo parlor? Um, the lowest amount, the cheapest amount I could get in, they told me, was $40 to pay for, that's what they call it, a $40 buy-in pack. And it lets you play 8 games, bingo games. You know, they call off numbers and, you know, and hopefully you get all the right numbers and win a bunch of money, like $300 or something like that. To me, it's not worth it to throw away $40 just to see if I could win $300, because the stock market is hard enough and I play that game and I still do all right at the stock market. But bingo is a lot more chance, I think. Stock market, you can actually bet based on news and things happening with a financial organization. And you know, I have fun playing that game and it keeps me up to date on the market. Whereas this is just throwing $40 away. I would think of it that way, as just throwing $40 away no matter what. And then if I won 300, that would be like, oh, that would be, you know, wow, that would be a celebration, except that the odds are so much against that. Sacramento Bingo Center, I started telling them the history. I used to work there as a DJ, 82 to 84, when it was King's Skate Country, and the lady knew that it had been King's, but mostly she knew about the other King's Skate Country on Bradshaw Road, and it was owned by Dan King. I used to work for Dan King. He owned both businesses. Eventually King's Skate Country on Bradshaw, which was the earlier rink, that closed and became the rink, run by my friend Brad Armstrong. And this one closed in 1984 because the Harney family, they were managing it, although the business was owned by Dan King. And the owner of the building, Dan Benvenuti, who was a local politician and businessman, he was raising the lease, the monthly lease. I remember that was the reason why King's Skate Country had to close. They just didn't want to pay the higher lease. And so a lot of people, the next week I was working at King's Bradshaw as a DJ, because Dan King hired me right away. He knew all along I did well at this roller rink, keeping the people happy here, always having packed crowds on Wednesday nights. And anyways, a fun time, a fun social center. And what I like about this place, even though I don't think I'll be doing much bingo playing, is that it's free admission, and that you can just hang out and watch what's happening. And they do have a sound booth there where apparently an announcer calls off numbers. So that means they're kind of in a position to do like what I used to do, a DJ type gig. Who knows, they might rent this venue out for other reasons sometimes, but it seems like the cool venue for a community hangout. But again, I don't need to be playing bingo to just gamble my money away. I want you to check out the latest version of my song, Wind Around the Century, because it's all about memories and reflecting on last century. Time is full of memories in the shadow of a distant dream. It never comes true, or so it seems. Oh yeah. I meant to say to you seem to find their own resolve.